Assalamu alaikum everyone. So in the previous session we have discussed about supporting topic sentences, the four types of supporting materials or sentences that can be incorporated into the writing. Now we are going to look at yet another type of supporting sentence. Okay, so once that you have learned how to limit your subject in a clear and concise topic sentence, and then you have learned how to support that limited aspect or the main idea or the topic sentence using examples, details, anecdotes, facts and statistics. It is time for you to understand the next step, and that is to arrange your supporting sentences in a logical and in a cohesive manner. So when your writing is cohesive, this is how it looks like. But every other paragraph is coherently connected together. The ideas are connected together, and the paragraph or your writing does not just appear like haphazard ideas that are not grouped together, that are not linked together. So this is something that is again very important. So let's have a look. So basically, we are going to talk about enumeration. In this type of paragraph development, the writer basically starts with a general class, and then they proceed and break down that general idea or class by listing some or all of its members or parts. So this is how it looks like, that this is the general idea or the type or the class or part that you are going to talk about, and then you break down into specific idea, each of them. Refer to each of them. Okay, so let's look at the enumeration, and obviously I have to show you the model paragraph in order to help you understand. If we were having physical sessions, I might have you given it in the form of a written handout, because obviously I am not, I don't support having so much text on the PowerPoint slides, but right now we only have this interaction through this online mode. So I have written the paragraph here, and I am reading it for you so you actually understand. Otherwise, I would have given you this all in the form of a handout. Okay, so let's look at the example. There are three basic kinds of materials that can be found in any good library. So here, this is our main idea. This is the topic sentence, that the three basic kinds of materials that are found within a good library. This is the topic that we are going to talk about. First, there are books on all subjects, both in English and in many other languages. So this is the first, kind of material or kind of, as a kind of material that you're going to refer to. So these books are organized according to subject, title, and author in a central file called the card catalog. Books can generally be checked out of the library and taken home for a period of 2 to 4 weeks. This is the second. This was the first, information. Second, there are reference books, which includes encyclopedias, dictionaries, bibliographies, atlases, etc., and which generally must be used in the library itself. So the second kind of material. The first is books on all types of subjects in English or different languages that can be taken home or issued from the library for a specific period of time. The second type are the reference book, which includes all the encyclopedias or dictionaries or atlases. But these books are the one that you're supposed to read or get help from only within the library premises, and you're not allowed to take them home. Third, there are periodicals, magazines, newspapers, pamphlets, which are filed alphabetically in racks or which have been microfilmed to conserve space. Like reference works, periodicals can usually be, okay. So again, there is a space issue, but this was the last point. So you see how the ideas have been listed here. Now, okay. So this is how the first idea was. Books, the first point was books in, on all subjects in many languages. This was the first enumeration, the first point of your list. Second was reference book, and you gave the information about reference book. And the third was periodicals, and then you elaborated on periodical. So basically, in the use of word kind in this paragraph tells us that in this paragraph we are referring to kinds of materials. And apart from kinds or types, you can talk about classes, parts, elements, factors, characteristics, aspects, divisions. So these are some of the things that can be referred to, through listing down. Okay. So what does enumerators basically do? They help show the reader exactly what we are listing or enumerating. So they're very important keywords. So the moment you say first, next, second, you are actually, providing a direction to your reader that, okay, this is the main point, this is my first point, this is my second point. So you must put it in the topic sentences of enumerative paragraphs. If throughout your paragraph you're referring it in the form of a list, so first paragraph you're referring to the first type or first kind of anything that you're talking about. So in this way, you will be able to organize your paragraphs in a more clear manner. Excuse me. And it will also help your reader to follow your train of thought more easily. So when everything is there in a proper list form and the words are indicating the proper list that is given, the readers, it's easier for the reader or for me as an examiner or teacher to follow through your idea and to see how well organized your thoughts are. So इस तरह से आप list down कर देते हैं one by one. You don't need to put one number. You do it with the use of language and by developing your paragraphs in a cohesive manner. ठीक है? So group 1 first, there are books. Group 2, the first kind is or consists of. So this is how your this is the type of sentence structure that is probably used when you're using enumeration for in your supporting sentences. Okay, now this is a paragraph. Now you are going to see that what kind of enumerators can you insert here. Most middle class Americans use 4 main distances or zones in their business and social relationship. Each of these distances has a near and a far phase and is accompanied by a change in the volume of voice. Dash intimate distance. So first is the intimate distance, or first comes the intimate distance, which varies from direct physical contact to a distance of 6 to 18 inches and which is used for our most private activities, caressing another person or comforting a crying child. So this is the first type of distance that is used. Second, the other is, you can say, personal distance, which has a close space of 1.5 to 2.5 feet. It is at this distance that wife usually stands from the husband in public. If another woman moves into this zone, the wife will most likely be disturbed. The far 2 phase and 2.5 to 4 feet is the distance used to keep someone at arm's length and is the most common spacing used by people in conversation. The next one is, now what type of word you insert here or enumerator you insert here is on your discretion. Okay. Social distance, which is employed during business transactions or exchanges with a clerk or repairman. People who work together tend to use close social distance 4 to 7 feet. The far phase of this third zone, 7 to 12 feet, is where people stand when someone says, stand back so I can look at you. This distance lends a formal tone to business or social discourse. Dash public distance, this is the last one, which is used by teachers in classrooms or speakers at public gathering. At its furthest space, 25 feet and beyond, it is used for important public figures. So this is the type of the last, or you can say lastly, what kind of words you insert here as enumerators or what enumerators you insert here is something that you have to decide. But if you look at the organization of this paragraph, the paragraph seems quite coherent. And this is probably because of the way you have organized your thoughts. So organization is very important for a paragraph to be considered a well-written one. ठीक है, तो इस तरह से आप ये देखें, ये तो इसमें तो आपको मैंने लिखने के लिए नहीं कहा हुआ है, इसमें आप देखें कि किस तरह से आप इसमें एनुमरेटर्स ऐड करेंगे. ठीक है. अच्छा, फिर ये होता है कि आइडिया को राइटर्स अरेंज आइडिया इन टर्म्स ऑफ देयर इंपॉर्टेंस, राइट? सो देयर आर 2 main ways, ascending order or the descending order. So if you are using ascending order for providing details about your topic sentence, then you basically list the minor points or the less important point first and you save the most important ones for the last, for the later part. So basically what happens when writers incorporate this style is that they believe that by doing so, they will be able to keep their readers, keep the readers more interested, since the paragraph has a kind of, dramatic structure to it. So it basically builds up or ascends to a climax. So, by referring, beginning from a point of minimum importance or less important point, and then you reach to the climax. So this is how you keep the interest level of your readers in your writing. Okay. So we indicate this by the importance of ideas, or list in ideas in terms of their importance, by using these sorts of listing signals. So these are some listing signals that you can use: by far, most important, primary, largest, and most important. So this is how you use ascending order. Okay. For example, if you remember, we discussed it in the last session last week, and I gave you, we discussed this paragraph when we were talking about topic sentences, that my reason for choosing Bingston. You remember? So there were 4 main points that the writer talked about. It's reasonable tuition fees, it's deferred payment plan, it's fine teachers, and it's work study program. So maybe now, if I'm using ascending order, I at the last talk about my main reason for choosing Bingston. So that will come at the end, because I want to keep the most important idea for the end. So let's look at the example. There were several reasons why I decided to attend Bingston University. First of all, the tuition was reasonable. First. Second, the university had a deferred payment plan. This represented a great convenience to my parents. Another reason was the fact that Bingston hires only the finest of teachers to teach in its graduate program. So I'm done with 3 of the reasons. The 3 of the reasons that are comparatively less important than my primary, than my primary or my chief reason. Now comes my main reason. And how do I, refer to that? This is my main idea, my chief reason. So this word in itself reflects that in terms of importance, this is the main reason I chose this university. So my chief reason, however, was Bingston's mandatory work or study program in agriculture, my chosen field. The university requires all agriculture students to gain practical experience by working on farms in the areas while they are still going to school. So during the period of their graduation, they are supposed to go to the field and work. And this was my primary reason for selecting this university, because they offer a quality program in my area of study. I knew that this would provide me invaluable experience and prepare me to better use the skills I had learned in my classroom. So this is how, in terms of importance, I started by talking about the less important ideas, and then I built upon those ideas, and in the end, I revealed my chief or my primary reason for selecting Bingston University. Okay, now let's look at the descending order. So in descending order, basically, it's the opposite of ascending order. So what does a writer do in a descending order? That the writer lists the most important point first, and then the writer talks about the other points which are not that important. So the writer basically thinks that the other points are important too, but he or she simply wishes to mention the most important point first. So basically, it's the inverse of ascending order, and it also has its signals. So again, consider the example of choosing Bingston University, and in the last session, I also gave you a task of writing why you have chosen BBSU for completing your bachelor's in business administration. So I hope that if you are the one who has actually done that, or if people have written the paragraph, now you'll be in a better position to decide that did you use the ascending order, or you incorporated descending order for referring to your reason of choosing the university and that the program in that university. So let's look at this example. There were several reasons why I decided to attend Bingston University. My chief reason for choosing that university was its wonderful work study program in agriculture, my chosen field. The university requires all its agriculture students to gain practical experience by working on farms in the area while they are still going to school. I knew that this would provide invaluable experience and prepare me to better use the skills I had learned in the classroom. And you see, more space, whether you mention your main idea at the beginning of a paragraph or you keep it for disclosing it at the end, the main space or the most space is given to the main the chief reason or the most important reason. So here almost half of the paragraph you have devoted to talking about your chief reason for choosing a university, for choosing that university. Now comes the remaining point. Second, Bingston hire only the finest teachers to teach in its graduate school. Then two, there was Bingston's deferred payment plan. This represented a great convenience for my parents. A final reason was the reasonable tuition. So because now how does this paragraph reflect that the finest study program was the chief reason? You have the writer has explicitly mentioned that my chief reason, and even if you don't look at that word, that the amount of space that has been given to talking about your chief reason itself reflects the importance of that idea. So this is how you incorporate ideas based on their importance. Okay, another example of now here you have to analyze the enumerative paragraph. I hope you are able to understand it by now. Okay, of the 10 largest retailing companies in the world, in the United States, 3 are involved in mail order sales. So you're going to talk about 3. You're going to list them. The top mail order company is Sears, Roebuck and Co. with yearly sales of over $17 million and assets of almost $15 million. Next comes J.C. Penney, whose yearly sales total more than $90 million and whose assets are approximately $4 million. The smallest mail order company in the top 10 grouping is Montgomery Ward, which has over this much sales and this much asset. Now, what do you think? Has the writer incorporated ascending order of enumeration or descending order? So let's look at the example. Let's analyze the paragraph. Type of order that has been used is descending, and the enumerator were companies, and the listing signals that were incorporated in these paragraph was the word top, next, and then in the last it was used, the writer used the smallest. So you see the word top, next, smallest, they themselves represented the importance of idea, and descending order was incorporated because the most important or the top company was listed at the beginning, right? And the structure, mail orders of the companies which figure in the top 10 list. And how was the structure of the paragraph? You begin with your main idea, which was your topic sentence, and then as your supporting sentences, you refer to the profit and the assets of each company. So this is how you structured your paragraph in this example. So here I have yet another example, and remember this list. This is how you're going to assess the next paragraph as well. Astronomers use 3 basic kinds of telescopes to explore the vastness of space. The refractor telescope uses 2 lenses, one to collect light from a distant object and bring it into focus, and another in the eyepiece to magnify the image. Second, there is the reflector telescope, which makes use of a concave mirror instead of a lens to reflect light rays to the upper end of the telescope. Last and perhaps most important in terms of studying phenomena outside the Earth's atmosphere is the radio telescope, which gathers waves with a wire antenna serving as a parabolic reflecting surface. The discovery of mysterious quasars and pulsars were made possible through this, probably. So this is how this is the paragraph on the 3 basic types of telescope. Now following this pattern, you are going to assess the type of order that the writer has used, the enumerators, the listing signals, the words that are used as the listing signals, and the structure of the paragraph. This is something that you have to analyze, and this is just one example of paragraph that I have written here in the book that I mentioned and in the reference slide as well, and I have uploaded in your Google Classroom. From pages 32 to 34, there are different paragraphs that have been given. So you can look at, simply you don't have to write it, you can simply read those paragraphs. These are small paragraphs, hardly take 2 to 3 minutes to read them, and you can analyze if the writer has incorporated ascending or descending method of using enumerators. Okay, now that we are done with enumeration, I decided to, first I was thinking that if it would be too much for you in the single session, but then we have talked about enumeration, we have looked at the examples in ascending and descending order. So there is yet another special type of enumeration process. Basically, when supporting sentences are have to be arranged in an order where you have to refer to steps, or you have to incorporate step-by-step sequence, which basically tells the writer how something is made, or what is the process of doing something or completing something. That development is called process. Now, process development is in fact a kind of enumeration in itself, but here we are dealing only with the steps or stages, and we are not going into that detail. So I'll just randomly discuss that how you incorporate stepwise sequence in your writing, and what are the topics that demand you to write in that manner. Okay, so model paragraph. In his will, Alfred Nobel left specific instructions as to how the winners of the science awards he endowed are to be selected. First, each year the Swedish Academy of Sciences, Physics and Chemistry, and the Karoline Medical Institute, Physiology and Medicine solicit nearly 2,000 recommendations from past laureates, university professors, and other experts from around the world. This was the first step. The second step is the review of recommendations received and the selections of preliminary candidates by special committees within the two Swedish institutions. So first, we have discussed that each year there are 2,000 recommendations that are received from from the past laureates, that were received from the past laureates, university professors, and after receiving the application, the second step basically refers to reviewing the recommendations that have been received by a special committee. Now a little elaboration on what does the committee do. The committee members are specifically instructed that those chosen shall have conferred the greatest benefits on mankind, and that no consideration be given to the candidates' nationalities. So a little after referring to the second step, which is very important, reviewing the recommendation, a little more is mentioned about what the committee is expected to do. So the committee is expected to choose those that have benefited mankind, humanity in the greatest possible manner. Next, after lengthy investigation and discussion, the final choices are made for each discipline. This is the next step. And the final one. Finally, telegrams informing them of their rewards are sent to the new Nobel laureates about 1 month prior to the award ceremony. So you see, and now this was this is the method of selecting the Nobel laureates, and in this writing, the writer step by step has mentioned the different steps that are conducted or that are necessary for selecting the Nobel laureate. So this is how, and there are again some specific words which refers to the fact that process is involved, and process is used as an enumeration in this paragraph. And whenever you are going to refer to a process, you have to make sure that there is again clarity of idea. So what happens when you incorporate this kind of, signals or transition signals or listing signals, that your writing becomes easier to follow. Your ideas become more clear. Your thoughts are more well organized. And having, as we have already discussed in our last lecture, in our last session last week, during the lecture on 7 C's of communication, clarity is a must to achieve. So if you have wonderful ideas, but your writing lacks clarity and makes no sense to the reader, then no matter how relevant or how cogent your ideas are, you are not going to achieve the end. That is, you're not going to convey your opinion, or you're not going to convince the reader of your ideas. So throughout, we have been looking at the model paragraph, and I assume that now you're in a better position to see how paragraphs are structured and how they should be written. Okay. So basically, now you can, for practicing on the process, you can, for your self-practice, you can refer to maybe, you can refer to any step. If you refer back to, any chemistry experiment in your chemistry class, you would realize that the type of writing that is there in your, in your books, it's more written in the process manner, because that is the whole process. So you can also, if you want to understand or have a better exposure of how process type of writing is, a process is incorporated in writing, you can read those formulas, or read your chemistry book or any formula. And also for practicing, you maybe some of you love to cook, and you have some amazing recipes. So what you can do is that you can write recipes, any special recipe, and share it with your friends. So this is another way of practicing for writing paragraphs that incorporate enumeration of process in this manner. Okay, so I hope that by now, in this paragraph, my specific aim was to help you develop coherent paragraph by helping you understand what are enumerators, what are basically listing signals, and by showing you sentence structure or paragraphs that have incorporated enumerators, and how to organize ideas in ascending or descending orders, and then analyzing enumerative paragraph, and giving you some self-practice tasks, and referring to a special type of enumeration, which is process. Also, here I would like to refer to one thing, is that try to incorporate transition signals in your writing when you're moving from one point to another, so that it doesn't look like you're just randomly haphazardly jumping from one idea to another. So it shouldn't be in that way. So try to incorporate cohesive devices, cohesive markers, and I hope that you all know what kind of cohesive devices you can incorporate in your writing. Some of the examples are something that we have just discussed in the last sessions, but other transition signals could be using words like however, moreover, nevertheless, nonetheless, furthermore, in addition to, besides that. If you are in order to expand on your ideas, if you are referring to idea that is contradictory to your previous idea, then you can incorporate transition signals such as on the other hand, right? On the other hand, or as opposed to this, contrary to this, on the contrary. These are the types of transition signals that you can incorporate in your writing. When you're for concluding paragraph, you can write to sum up, in a nutshell, to conclude. So these are some of the phrases that helps you achieve cohesion or clarity in your writing. So now that I'm explicitly teaching these components to you, whenever I assess you, I'm going to assess you on the basis of your writing and how well you have integrated what you have been taught in these lectures. So what I want you to do is that please practice in the last session as well all the 4 types of supporting sentences, example, details, and the remaining 2 types, and this one enumerator. So whenever you get time, randomly pick up the topics that have been mentioned in this, in these slides, and practice. Or while you are watching this video for the first time, you are taking notes, you can list down the topics in your diary, so that whenever you have time, you can just pick up your notebook and write a paragraph on these topics. So I hope that now this topic is quite clear to you. So we'll meet in the next session and discuss the further topics related to writing skills. So thank you, everyone.